I'm Brandy Cruz, host of the Undivided Podcast, and you're listening to Outlaw Radio. Good luck.
Yesterday, my life was headed in one direction. Today, it is headed in another. You ever think the universe was against you? Fear, belief, love, phenomena that determine the course of our lives. These forces begin long before we are born and continue after we perish.
Our lives are not our own. We are bound to others, past and present. And by each crime and every kindness, we birth our future.
I won't let you go again.
I believe there is another world waiting for us, a better world. And I'll be waiting for you there.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. Outlaw Radio Network. Radio Network.
I'm Brandy Cruz, host of the Undivided Podcast, and you're listening to Outlaw Radio. Good luck.
Breaking news. Still not snowing. Still not snowing. That's your breaking news. Brought to you by Black Ring Spirits in the Town Square Shopping Center, Mall, and Bar Mitzvah Shop. Stop in and visit Tom at Black Ring Spirits for all of your alcoholic beverage needs for the holidays, because nothing says it's Christmas like getting drunk at your family's house. All right.
Fine Spirits sounds much better than
Fine Spirits.
buying your booze
You know,
at the local swill house.
Tom, you're the owner of Black Ring Spirits. Do you prefer the phrase booze or spirits? I guess I know the answer because he didn't call the business Black Ring Booze, did he?
You know, actually, when we named it, we were just going to call it Black Ring Distillery.
Mm-hmm.
But there's too many other places that have labeled themselves as, you know, distillery. So we went with spirits.
Spirits.
No, it sounds good. I'm curious at the risk of offending hypersensitive Kevin, why the comment about no snow? Because you're like, listen, you realize that you live like 100 feet above the water and like 2 football fields away from it. So the fact that you have no snow
Just 'cause I
does
have a
not
view
have
does
any
not make you a bad
correlation
person.
to the entirety of the rest of this peninsula.
Including your neighbor.
Before Kevin even speaks,
Yes.
I'm going to come to his defense.
Thank you, Dennis. My
Because
birthday twin.
people that
he
live
needs it
west of the passes see anything white and flaky coming from the sky.
Yeah.
It could be ash. It could be snow. It could be sleet. It
Wait,
could be hail.
You said white and flaky. It could be Paul, but go ahead.
Exactly. They panic.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden drive bad. They forget how to drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and they're
bless
trying
your
to
heart,
put
Dennis. We have this thing around here called hills, though. And for those of us that do drive on a regular basis.
Okay. Well, I'd like to throw out a comparison for you then.
Go ahead.
Because I also lived up in Alaska for a while. And not to insult my friends in Alaska.
No, Alaska's beautiful.
But I have never seen a group of people that can't drive in the rain.
Well, people in Alaska can't drive in the rain?
No, it starts to rain. They all drop down to 20.
Wow. Like, because they're afraid it's going to freeze or something? Like, what's the deal?
A lot of the roads have frost heaves and a lot of ruts in them.
Oh.
Because the blacktop.
They spend all that money giving back from their oil reserves, right? Maybe they should use it to fix the roads. Is that what you're politely saying?
They do it every year. And then next thing you know, you have these ruts that keep you in the groove on the freeway like a slot car.
Like an old Roman ox cart, right?
Yeah.
Down the Appian Way.
And so no one can figure out how to drive out of those ruts on the higher elevations of the roadway.
Well,
so
hold on,
20 miles out.
You're leaving the best part about Alaska winter out of the story, though. So if you get outside of Anchorage, if you get out towards Palmer, towards Wasilla,
I lived in Wasilla.
Yeah, I know. If you get outside of the major city,
Kevin visited there. He saw Russia.
I've been there a couple times. I've been to Alaska a couple times, and I did see Russia. I actually stood in the park across from Sarah's backyard.
I was going to say he stood on a ladder. I can see Russia.
Go ahead.
True story. They have dirt trails on both sides of the roads.
Yes, they sure do.
And in the summer, it's for quads and motorcycles.
Oh,
and
that makes sense.
And in the winter, it's for snowmobiles. And if you don't have room for that or a lot for that for your business, you will go out of business.
Road trip.
Let me tell you.
And they let anybody drive an ATV or a snowmobile.
Yeah.
You could be 9 and drive an ATV or a snowmobile.
In the snow, ATVs and snowmobiles are good to go on the trails on the side of the road. And it is nothing to see a whole swath of them parked at the bar at very odd hours of the day.
Well, that's
or the morning.
Well, it's like Montana when you're driving down the freeway and you come across the bar that serves pizza and you see, all these cars out front and then like 12 horses.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Duns are here.
So I just want to give you guys a quick update for those of you in the greater Kitsap County and Thurston County areas for both of our really cool stations. They're calling for up to 3 inches of snow to accumulate before Thursday afternoon, before tomorrow afternoon. We could see up to.
So we might get a dusting, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, and listen,
Kevin might get a dusting.
Well, people are idiots. Everybody on my Facebook page is like, Kitsap's going to get 8 inches of snow. No, Kitsap's only going to get 8 inches of snow if you're on the west side over by the Hood Canal. If you're in Bremerton, you might get a dusting, and that's exactly what happened.
That's all it takes.
I appreciate Kevin's naivete. Maybe he just has.
Can you
he's
spell
having
that
fun
word?
with it. Not
you
a
should
chance.
not use
not
words
a chance.
you can't spell.
Naviete.
You know
what she said.
You know the only other person I've heard pronounce it that way.
Naivete.
Yes.
I couldn't even tell you where that.
How would you pronounce it, Dennis?
How would you pronounce it?
Well, I've only heard it one other time.
Oh.
It was in a Rocky movie.
It was in a Rocky movie? Was it really? Which
yeah,
one?
It was Sylvester Stallone. It was either in Rocky Balboa or in the first Creed movie.
Oh, I heard he said he will not watch the latest Creed movie. I thought that was really. I don't know why.
Have you watched his new show, by the way?
Yes.
Memphis
King
Is
of
it good?
Tulsa.
Okay, no, Tulsa King.
Tulsa King. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only started the first episode.
It's slow,
I was
but
tired,
it's the concept is fascinating. We'll see.
There's a lot of Botox in that face.
You're right. I would agree. I would agree. Dennis, I again, I wanted to thank you for riding in on a white horse to Kevin's aid. First of all, he deserves it.
Did you ever know that
yeah,
you're my hero?
He deserved it. He deserved it, man. Because this I can't use the word. We're on AM radio right now. Got to go on vacation for twice inside of 2 months to warm, sunny
That's
places,
true.
which officially makes him a bastard. So
Hold on.
well, now we've gotten that away.
Twice within a month. I mean,
That's worse.
Let's just be honest. I just don't want you to misrepresent what
You're a
I've been
special
doing.
kind of schmuck, aren't you?
And one of them was out of the country.
Yeah, right.
One of them was out of the. Listen,
This is
I
a
was on
Caribbean?
the beaches of Aruba, man.
Yeah.
Come on, that's good
Yeah.
stuff right there.
Anyway, we're glad to see you back. Terribly
I'm glad to be
tragic that you had to screw up the Seahawks game against the Raiders. Didn't appreciate that very much.
Man, that was brutal.
But yeah,
can we do
it was
intros
what it
since there's
was.
hardly anybody here? Can we do intros?
Okay.
Thanks, Dennis.
Can I?
We're gonna do
And
intros.
since we're doing intros, can I point out that I absolutely won the bet with my good friend Tom here, and it must have sucked being at your house watching the Apple Cup. I'm sorry for you for that.
Yeah.
So
did you hear? So true story. They put ropes and security around
did.
around the Wazoo logo at the middle of the field
because of what Wazoo did last year to the Huskies.
And I would like to commend Wazoo. They finally found a defense that worked.
Yeah,
because otherwise, that was a whooping, man. That was so good.
It was not. It was actually a pretty close game until the fourth quarter.
It was. You know what, Tom? Good for you. Good for you.
statement.
It was a close game until about midway through the second quarter, when talent and training and confidence and every other aspect that goes into the football.
Nothing makes me
Tom,
happier.
I can't back you up. On
Yeah,
that.
it's
I
just-
didn't watch.
I mean, literally,
I take this kind of abuse every hour.
which is why I apologized ahead of
makes me
time.
happier.
I know that you are probably at the top of the bandwagon, praying to God that Michael Penix goes to the NFL next year.
He will not.
So we'll see. I mean, he's a
It's a really-
fifth year junior.
It's a
and,
really deep class this year. If he's smart, he'd get one more year under him, and then
if he gives a damn about us fans, he'll get one more year in.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. He's been injury plagued his entire college football career.
Yep.
This was the first year he wasn't, and I can't say that I would blame him for going to the NFL because he has got one good solid year under his belt. There's some people even talking about he might get some votes for the Heisman. I don't necessarily. The body of work isn't there. I'm not sure. That's not me saying that. That's the folks on ESPN.
that
But
jackwagon quarterback at a USC is going to get it.
well, a lot of talk, by the way, in the mock drafts. ESPN's been running these mock drafts for those that are NFL football fans. There's a lot of people speculating that your Seattle Seahawks will take the quarterback out of Ohio State. So that should be
God, I
interesting.
hope not.
Yeah, I think Seahawk fans really need to be thanking Russell Wilson
Dude,
for
right?
sucking so bad that he is still giving to the team.
He's like the Energizer Bunny, isn't he? Still giving.
He is.
I mean, it's so bad that his own defensive linemen are yelling at him on the sidelines, and all he can do is shake his head like, "I know, dude, I know."
Yeah, I'm waiting to see the game where he's getting his ass chewed out by the kicker.
Did you see what the NFL did this year?
Andy said in chat, by the way, that quarterback's name is C.J. Stroud, and I hope.
Yeah, that's his
I
name.
hope if the Seahawks get him, he plays better for us than he did against Michigan on Saturday. But go ahead.
Well, it's true. Yeah, it's true. But what I was
being nice. It is Andy's birthday.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Mr. Stroud. Stroud. Okay, thank God, because I didn't relish the idea of a quarterback named Shroud. It just doesn't sound like
Last
it
name
doesn't
is-
sound like it's
last
going to
name
go
is
very well,
Turin.
right?
Ohio.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah. Anyway, I totally forgot what I was
Are
going to
there
say.
any Ohio State quarterbacks that have done well in the league?
Lots of UW quarterbacks have done well, but not Ohio.
I
don't think so.
I'm really
The last great Notre Dame quarterback was selected by the Seahawks. His name was Rick Meyer, and he ended up in the trash heap of history.
Well, I would like to tell you about the great lineage of WSU quarterbacks.
You're still bitter over Ryan Leaf. Let it go, man. Let it go.
The Chargers have the all-time
worst.
No, let me say this: the ultimate
worst
all-time worst in the gutter.
Suckage.
No, a dumpster that can't even be caught on fire. It's just a dump. Ryan Leaf.
Yeah,
Ryan Leaf.
yeah, a dude who's now recovered from drug abuse, and
He is, and he's a motivational speaker.
Yeah,
And he's also-
I'm
he's
not
also
sure
doing-
I'd pay to listen to him speak.
He's also doing some stuff on Westwood Radio too, some radio stuff.
He is.
He's
I
not
give him
awful.
credit for
Leave me alone,
doing
man.
that, but yeah, could you just knock it off?
Yeah.
Well, no, what's great
but
is
you
that
threw 8 picks in one quarter. Stop
every
it.
time they throw it to him to ask him a question, they're like, "Speaking of suckage, Ryan, what do you think?" Okay.
How does
Let's
Russell
do-
Wilson feel
Let's
right
do
now?
intros.
Dude,
Gardner
one last thing.
Minshew.
Oh yeah,
Gardner
Minshew. Okay.
I love Gardner Minshew in the stash, man. I
So-
wish he'd have gotten a
Dude
real
has
shot.
Swag.
One last thing that I was going to say to Dennis, because Russell Wilson has also been giving to Dennis and other San Diego fans, as the ESPN has announced that Russell Wilson sucks so bad that they have flexed him out of his primetime Sunday night football game and moved the Chargers in there. So you're welcome, Dennis.
Denver versus Kansas City got flexed down to 1:00.
Yep.
And here we're going to put the Chargers back in prime time. Why not?
They said, Russell, you suck so bad, dude. You're playing earlier in the day, okay?
Hold on. I need actual breaking news music.
Yeah,
Give me
Mahomes
actual-
was probably like,
actual breaking news music.
man,
Dennis.
your mama.
All right, so this is out of Bremerton School District. They have just announced they will have at least a 2-hour late start on Thursday. No out-of-district transportation, no AM, PM, pre-K, and worst of all, no breakfast.
How is that possible if there's no snow, Kevin?
Because they're being proactive.
So the whole school just woke up and said, well, there's no snow out there, according to Kevin Chambers on KITZ
No,
radio, but
they're
we're going to go ahead and cancel school for tomorrow.
First of all, it's Mega Talk Radio.
Yeah, it's that too.
You don't live in Bremerton. You're not in the Bremerton School District.
Yes, I
are you?
am.
Is that Bremerton School
Yes.
District? How do you live at the top of the hill in your Bremerton School District? I live at the bottom of the hill and I'm South Kitsap.
Because I'm across the street from
I
you.
understand that. And
Yeah.
you're also on City of Bremerton septic sewer, and I'm on my own septic tank, which is in and of itself an awful situation. All right.
You never know when some dumbass will come to your house to put in a fence and hit your septic lines.
Well,
All right. While we had all that football talk, can we throw a quick shout out to
oh yes,
the North Kitsap High School Vikings?
Yeah, absolutely, that's awesome.
Making the first state championship appearance of a West Sound team since 1997, which was South Kitsap versus Central Valley in the AAA championship.
so they play Linden, who is the number 1 ranked team in the state. They're undefeated. They played them last year and beat them, but it was a close game.
No, they lost to Linden last year in the semifinals.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
they played Linden, and Linden beat
that's
them
what you
last
said,
year.
Kevin.
Yeah, pay attention to the quiz later.
That's what you said.
But it was a close game. And so here's shout outs to North Kitsap. Here's shout out that they do well, that they play well, that they maybe win.
Saturday, 5:00.
Awesome.
5:00. Yeah.
You guys are broadcasting live?
Yes, we are. It'll be broadcast here.
Pat
The
Duncan will
state
be
2A
doing the,
championships.
Pat
Duncan and Michael Pinky Nordstrom, my co-announcer from the Derby.
From the Derby. Okay.
All right.
That's awesome. You're
So
gonna
that'll
be
be fun.
You're gonna be running the whole show, but you'll be on the mic too.
I'll be here pushing the buttons.
Okay. So they're doing live play-by-play from in the studio
Yep.
or in the, at the
at
stadium.
the stadium, Spark Stadium in Puyallup.
Gotcha.
And
Nice little stadium
And
there.
it's.
Really
I've read some articles already. North has had to cancel some practices because of the weather
Oh,
Really?
and change some things.
But
and,
Sparks
yeah.
is outside. That stadium's outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sparks is
By the
outside
way,
in the valley.
we haven't got any updates on the Tenino football team. Can someone tell us what happened to Tenino? Do they play this weekend?
Nobody cares.
Do we,
they
well, no,
haven't
Heidi
pl-
Hot Sauce. That's her
they-
team. I want to
they're
find out what happened to Tenino.
I don't
They've
think
been out.
I don't think they've played in like 2 weeks.
I don't know.
They've been out.
I've
No,
been
they've
gone.
out.
I don't know what happened.
They've been out, you vacation whore. Leave it alone. Gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me to my left, he is the man that holds down the fort while I'm gone and tries not to get us fined by the FCC.
Of which I failed miserably.
That's what I've heard. He's also a guy I've done radio with for the better part of the last almost 21 years. I'm sorry, 23 years almost.
I was about to say
23
something.
years,
If you had left it at the better part of 21 years, I'd been like,
23
so the vacations affected your memory, apparently.
years. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the one, he is the only, he is St. Paul, the voice of reason.
That's right. The real voice of reason. I love you, Jesse, but apparently stealing my name for your campaign slogan didn't work out.
Oh, you
too
mean
well.
Jesse Young?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. I love the guy. And I'm just razzing him. By the way, has anybody heard from Jesse since the election?
I've left him alone. I've given him space. I'm going to reach out, though. I'd like to take
We
him back
do.
on the show.
We should reach out. Hey, to my proverbial left.
Maybe he could take over for you when you're gone.
And he's destined for radio. He could do radio. To my proverbial left, you're right on. Oh no, I'm sorry, I take that back. Not anymore because Boss Baby fixed it.
No,
so
he's,
now
he's on your right.
he's on.
Because
I
if
thought we
you look,
fixed it.
well, look, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
on your right.
On my proverbial left, to you all on my right.
This is called pulling the curtain back. Okay.
Yeah. The powerful Wizard of Oz. My good friend, somebody I have grown acquainted with, enjoyed sipping fine brandy with, who owes me $106 bottle of I Can't Wait for It. I love him for losing the bet. I seriously think that he threw it on purpose. He may have even paid off the Cougars to not play very well. To my good friend, I'm going to get it wrong, El Negro Tomas.
Hey,
did I get it right? God damn, I knew I couldn't screw it up forever. Hi, Tom.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for rubbing it in on the wazoo.
I'm really not trying to. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I totally admit it. I am. Yeah.
I know.
Working on the comedic timing, Tom.
I'm an island. I'm an island on this whole wazoo.
Yeah, it's better than being a cougar.
Oh.
It's right in time with the music. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay.
Well, across the room from me, you guys can see her hand when she waves. Hey, there she is. She's the prow of the ship, the one that keeps the business side of things going in the right direction. It's the CEO. Hey, Lori.
Hello.
She's like the rudder on a
Good song.
She's our fifth rudder.
But she actually gave me another song, but I forgot what it was, and I haven't got it.
I think it was. I think the song was "I Touched Myself" by the Divinals.
That's hilarious.
He is running the boards. He's running the boards, doing the commercials, making everything sound as good as it can possibly sound. He is available for your wedding, divorce party, birthday party, bar mitzvah, circumcision, and holiday extravaganza.
He's a licensed moil.
He's not even Jewish, but he'll wear one of those funny hats if you ask him to. Ladies and gentlemen, it's DJ D. Hello, Dennis.
Hey.
Dennis,
and by the way, I'd like to remind everyone, the Raiders suck always.
Yes, they do.
Thanks, Dennis. We lost to them this week, so
Did you
fight
see
me.
You see what I put on Facebook? The best thing about Raider jerseys is not only does it identify who their fans are, but it also tells you who has a felony conviction, probably didn't finish high school, has a meth addiction, and most likely a face tattoo.
I have a video to play for you later that I've shared before.
Okay.
And it's, the Las Vegas Raiders number one fan, all 78 pounds of her.
I would say this.
Singing her rap song.
If you've never been to an NFL game, definitely take your significant other to a game. Hear it in Seattle when the Raiders come to town. There's never another experience like it. You're guaranteed to see at least 3 to 5 fist fights within your general vicinity because Raiders fans are completely incapable of controlling themselves.
It's funny because I've been to a Seahawks Raiders game.
Yeah, so have I.
I've been to 2 Chargers games.
Did you see fist fights?
It was oddly enough preseason game.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. How this guy get escorted out?
Yeah. I swear to God, every Raiders game I've ever been to, there's always been fist fights. My dad and I used to have season tickets, and we always knew that when there was a Raider game, for whatever reason, Raiders fans like to throw down. Like
they do.
Like what is the deal?
It's like spicy football.
Is that Compton or something? What is it? I don't understand.
I wouldn't have a problem going to a game in Las Vegas. Not a problem.
Different mentality.
I would have never, ever went to a game in Oakland and wore anything Chargers related.
Right. Yeah.
I would have been in my Johnny Cash costume. I'm a man in
Dennis
black.
is like, I'm addicted to breathing and I'm allergic to pain, so I ain't wearing this jersey.
All right. Can we mute their microphones?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, right. Dennis, well, you set this up, Dennis. You were supposed to defend him, Dennis, and here we go.
Just remember, everybody, Journey is suing each other.
I hate you, Dennis. God damn. That is true, though. They are suing each other again. All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he is back aboard the mothership after traveling around the globe, from Bahamas to the Bay Area, from the Caribbean to California, from Oakland to hell and back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Antichrist. I am K-Dog.
Glorious. No, I won't give in. I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will defend. I will defend.
Thanks, Dennis. That's good stuff right there. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
So for the 21st year in a row, I have to apparently explain what it means to have really hard time this time of year. Because we
haven't
all
played any
we all
Christmas
no
music
no no
yet.
I'm not giving you any grief. I wasn't giving you no grief.
Go ahead.
I was just explaining. See, like my son and I had this conversation the other day, right? Because he was playing Christmas music, and I said, "You can play all the
Which
Christmas
son?
music you want."
I was just going to say, which
Yeah,
one?
Truant or Hunter?
True.
Okay.
Yeah, because if Hunter's around playing Christmas music, then you know.
I don't know if he's visiting or not. I've been
He will be.
gone. Remember,
He'll
I
be
told
when
you I
we
was in
can
the
have
Bay Area. I was gone. I was on vacation.
But,
remember?
So here's the thing, right? Seasonal affective disorder is a very real thing. It's not
Also
really a
known as
disorder.
sad.
It's not a real. I mean, here's the way that I put it. It is something that it develops over a long period of time. It's something that I deal with every year this time of year. Why? Because first and foremost, Christmas has become so commercialized that depending upon your personal circumstances or not, that it can create a great deal of anxiety and pressure as a parent to deliver, literally. And if you don't understand what I mean, you're a moron. But the point is that, I was in an industry for years where several bad things happened with loved ones passing during that time of year, which kind of kick-started it and started off. Compound that with an industry I was in for 8 years that, well, there's no work during the wintertime. And so you're basically cut back to meager wages and you're trying to find ways to scrap stuff together and everything else. And when you are not making much money this time of year, the expectations of children and spouses, etc., weighs heavily on it was generally men. Not that it doesn't affect women because they get it too, but it affects men in a much more profound way because men are expected to be the breadwinners and all this other stuff that goes on top of it. So it becomes a societal thing mixed with personal issues and stuff like that. So Christmas music, for example, becomes incredibly anxiety ridden and incredibly depressing, which leads to easily getting aggravated, being pissed off because you're like, I hate this time of year. And you sit there and you go, gosh, I wish every day could be Christmas. I wish we could feel this way the whole year out. And as much as you try to, when it gets to this time of year, it's those expectations along with the memories of years past that all kind of fall on your head like a big, concrete truck full of bricks. And it is debilitating at times. So when I joke about, God, no Christmas music. Okay, the week of Christmas is fine, stuff like that. Like, it's not coming from a place of, oh, listen to Paul, he's just a big schmuck. No, it's coming from a place where the stuff, it creates anxiety, it creates aggression, it creates hostility, because you're just like, you want to beat your head against the wall and make it stop. So it is a real thing, and different people deal with it in different ways. I don't necessarily believe per se that it's a disorder like medical people classify it, but it's real. It's no different than postpartum depression in a lot of ways. No, I'm not comparing myself to a woman that just gave birth. Shut up.
No, leave it alone.
But anyway,
when we come back, we're actually going to get into some topics. So stick around. Outlaw Radio. We're back after this on Mega Talk. Okay.
Facebook.
Comments from the chat room as we're on Facebook only, so feel free to swear, Paul. Sean says, teach the lore of Krampus. The kids will fall in line. Then again, maybe that's why my 14-year-old says she's a pagan.
Can we take a moment?
Sure.
I'd
Yes.
like to acknowledge what you
Yes.
said.
Oh, I didn't want to do that till we get back on AM because he had it on AM, and so didn't want to leave it alone until we back on AM. But go ahead.
Never mind, Kevin.
I didn't want to address the fact Kevin farted while we were all sitting in here looking at the camera.
Not.
I just didn't want to do it.
Why are you making up
I
stories?
figured we'd wait till we came back on AM.
There's plenty of things.
You have crop dusted.
There's
Yeah,
plenty
Oh,
of
totally.
things.
He's done it, man.
There's plenty of things you could tease me about that are valid instead of making up stories, Paul. Plenty of things. plenty of things.
Not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be goaded by you tonight, Kevin. It's not
No?
gonna happen.
Good.
Skid marks.
Good. Whatever. Why do you guys make up stories?
Dude, there's nothing.
Why is every
you know,
show? How bad
no.
can we embarrass K-Dog?
No, I was
what
gonna-
is that all about?
I was just
I
gonna
didn't
say
direct that at you.
there's nothing worse than you're like, oh, I'll do my laundry, dear, and your wife's like, no, I'll get it, and she comes walking back in. She's like, I'm tired of washing the skid marks out of your underwear, and it's
What
at
are you
that
talking-
moment.
What are you talking
Huh?
about?
This sounds like
He's
marital
been
bliss.
he's been single a long time, folks,
I
a
don't
long
even- I don't
time.
know what the hell you're talking about.
How long has it been since a woman did your laundry?
That's a great question. That's a great
How long is it?
question.
How long did? What was
You're,
it?
you're asking the wrong show member, and she's not here tonight.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
All right.
Just leave it alone.
So we come back. We're going to get into the. You want to talk about the marriage bill?
yeah, we should start with that.
We'll leave with
now,
the marriage bill.
now, I don't want to throw you under the bus on AM radio, but did you get a chance to look into it?
A little
I know
bit.
you were working,
A
so
little bit I
that's
was
why I
working.
asked.
And the great thing about being on vacation for the last week is when I got back, all my work was still there. So
It's funny how that works.
it wasn't like they just got rid of it and let me come back to a nice, easy first day back from my break. It was like, overflowing work queues. But we'll talk about that. Also,
30
Dennis,
seconds.
you'll be interested to know this. A member of Fleetwood Mac passed away today.
Christine McVie.
Christy McVie.
Christine
Yep.
McVie. So,
Passed away, natural
Passed away.
causes, or
I don't know. I just know that Kevin Nelson posted in the chat that she passed.
yeah, I'd seen that she had passed earlier today.
Yeah.
So
But
we'll find out. We'll do some investigative journalism next. This is Outlaw Radio.
Dun-dun-dun.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio. So we're talking during the break about the passing of Christine McVie, one of the founding members of the uber popular group ABBA. Oh, sorry, Fleetwood Mac. Sorry, Fleetwood Mac.
ABBA?
Not a
Fleetwood
founding member
Mac.
either.
Oh, she's not a founding member of
No.
Fleetwood
No.
Mac? Okay.
then nobody cares.
Anyway.
Oh,
So
Totally kidding, folks. Totally
She
kidding.
was part of their most famous lineup, though.
Yeah. So no cause of death or details were immediately provided, but a family statement said she, quote, passed away peacefully at a hospital this morning after a short illness.
Can I ask you guys a question? This is
Yeah.
going to sound weird and maybe insensitive, but have you ever read somebody say she passed away violently? Just
She passed away violently with blood squirting everywhere.
yeah, I'm just. Well,
And
that a
all
terrible
kinds
thing?
of
Was that a terrible
scathing
thing to say?
profanity being yelled out.
Like the chick from the movie where she's like, oh God, I can't think of it now.
When I die, would you
Her
guys
head
please do that?
spinning and-
Oh, The Exorcist.
Exorcist, yeah.
When I die, would you please do that? Just issue a press release. K-Dog died violently today after a 30-second convulsion holding a
30
bottle
second
of tequila.
convulsion. He fell down a cliff. And when he hit the first embankment, we thought he was going to make it. And then his head exploded as we watched all of his appendages fall off on the way down.
His last words were, "My shoe."
So, for whatever reason, this made me think of a little blurb, a little snippet. I just watched the end. For those that don't know, The Walking Dead did its series finale a couple weeks ago. So the very last Walking Dead 10 or 12-year-long run.
Don't spoil anything.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay.
12
Let me-
years?
Yeah,
let me
12
guess.
years it was on
People
TV.
died.
And then literally like the day after, I read this story about, and for those that don't know, it's a story that was based on a comic book series, and it's all about zombies. And all of a sudden, I read this article online about how scientists in Siberia resurrected a 46,000-year-old, and they called it this zombie virus. I'm like, dude, timing sucks. Like, we resurrected a 46,000-year-old zombie virus. Not cool, man. Keep it to yourself. That's all I'm thinking. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to know.
All right, so we're going to switch into a topic. And
Yes.
I picked this specifically because this is the narrative that's being pushed. And so I'm going to read the narrative that's being pushed. Then
Yeah.
Paul's going to tell me if this narrative is correct.
Sure.
Spoiler, he's going to say it's not. Okay. So this is off the Washington Post, where their tagline is "Democracy dies in darkness."
Owned by Jeff Bezos.
Oh, does Bezos own the Post?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was a Post of the Times.
Washington Post, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read this to you. Same-sex marriage is one of the more remarkable examples of how politics can shift rapidly. A decade ago, views of allowing same-sex couples to wed were evenly split. Nearly every state banned legal recognition for same-sex unions. Added to blah blah. God, I'm not trying to read an op-ed. Hold on.
That's all WAPO is.
That's all
nowadays, huh?
That's
Oh,
all
yeah,
any
I'm gonna-
mainstream journalism is now.
And anyway, they go on to opine here that the reason why the Republicans who voted against it, voted against
31 of them, I believe.
Yeah, voted against the bill, is because they are opposed to same-sex marriage. Not that they're opposed to same-sex unions or civil unions or anything like that, but they are opposed to the idea of same-sex quote-unquote marriage. Now, I have not found a lot of compelling arguments that indicate other reasons why Republicans would have voted against that. So I'm curious, Paul, is the reason why they're voting against it because Republicans don't agree that lesbians and gays should be able to get legally married?
Has nothing to do with why they voted no for it.
Okay, so explain.
Well, in short, the wording of the bill itself is profoundly bad. And how many times throughout the course of this country and throughout the course of history has government had good intentions for something and made it considerably worse just by writing bad legislation?
Daily.
Quite a few times.
Yep.
That's what this bill is. It's bad. It's feel-good / bad legislation. Okay. Why did this bill come about? Well, because after the Supreme Court decision about Dobbs came out, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas made a comment about the Supreme Court needing to reevaluate I forget the name of the decision, but the one, I think it's Obergefell, where gay and lesbian marriage was legalized. Okay. People lost their damn minds over it. First of all, that's not how our legal system works. A Supreme Court justice sitting out there making comments about a 25-year-old case doesn't mean the Supreme Court sits down and says, let's reevaluate it. That's not how this works. It has to go through a whole process. There has to be a lawsuit. There has to be all of these things that go into this lawsuit where the right people have damages, and it's way too much to go into for this show. Having said that, he wasn't suggesting that they do away with gay and lesbian marriage. It was nothing but one big dumpster fire that was, what's the word I'm looking for when you stir somebody up just to get them stirred
Gaslighting?
up? Oh, that's the word.
Right.
It was one big gaslit experiment put on by the left because they didn't like him anyway. Right? He's a conservative. So the left just doesn't like him. Why? Because he's a black conservative. So it was all, and he's married to a white woman, right? Yeah. So the whole thing is about basically destroying him, going after him. Actually, Ginny Thomas may not be white. I don't know. But anyway, that's still not the point. The point is,
why did you bring up that?
It was off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I thought so. I mean, anyway, it's just off the top of my head. So they create this bill, and the idea behind this bill is we're going to codify gay marriage. Well, nobody actually really has a problem with that, which is the biggest part why so many 12 Republicans said, okay, we'll vote for it. The 31 who didn't made it very clear, we're not voting for this because this is a big political ploy. Because when you look at the bill doesn't, first of all, it specifically states in the bill that no right that already exists is going to be affected by this bill. Well, then why are you writing it? Because if you're saying that nothing is going to be affected that already exists, then what is the point of this bill? Well, the point of this bill is the other things that are in it. It's not truly about LGBTQ issues. The point of the bill, for example, when you read through it, guess what you find out? Basically what it says is, any single state, and I'm paraphrasing here, any single state where any type of marriage becomes legal then has to be accepted by all 50 states. Does that make sense? Everybody follow me
So
there?
they're saying that if you get married in Washington and you travel to Oklahoma has to recognize that marriage.
Correct.
Okay.
Still doesn't sound right.
No,
Too
that's
bad,
fine.
right?
No.
Now, mind you, that's already the case, right? So already we're dealing with something that nobody's going after, nobody's trying to change, and is already the duly accepted law of the land. As Lindsey Graham pointed out, I don't know of any state legislature in the country that is trying to attack this. Like nobody's going after this.
Well, they wouldn't be able to because you get federal benefits for being married.
Well, so here comes the cool part. Ready for this one? Because legislatures at the national level are completely incapable of doing something without Joe Bidening it. Okay. Meaning F it up.
Pancakes.
So when you read through the language, there's an interesting word thrown in. The interesting word is, oh my God, now it escapes me.
Rum raisin ice cream?
No,
Pancakes?
anyway,
Shall.
it makes the entity. Thank you. That's the word. Or entities.
Oh.
Yes.
Meaning that any entities which are not defined, it just says entities.
So
Now,
it could be a
Are you
corporate entity.
suggesting corporate?
oh, absolutely. You could literally have. Okay, and here's why I say this, right? Because 22 years ago, Kevin, when we first started doing radio,
Yes.
you and I had a great conversation one day, and I couldn't tell you what day it was, where I screamed about my slippery slope argument. It's kind of when it started. And it started back during the Clinton era because they were legalizing certain things that many of us, and myself, I was a traditional marriage guy, right?
Mhm.
And I had always said, where does it stop, right? Can a brother marry a sister just to get benefits? Who can marry who? Can you marry your dog? At what point, where does it stop? Now, here we are in 2022, where this bill is coming up, and the word entities is in the bill. Now, what it means is that any state, and I want you to, let's just say California, where they legalize everything.
Yes.
California says that the entities can become, is any legal entity, meaning corporations.
Dairy Queen and Burger King can
Decide to get married.
Aww.
And while I do appreciate the humor, and I'm glad that you're throwing it in, but for half a second, let's just honestly think about this. Think about where we were at 22 years ago, the first time this conversation came up, and where we're at now. There's no way 22 years ago any of us conceived of the fact that in 2022 we'd be having a conversation about corporations getting married, or you marrying your dog, or you marrying your daughter, or your mom.
Well, okay, hold on.
But not you.
Hold on. No,
not
no,
literally
I know.
you. She's a boyfriend.
Hold on. I don't hear anybody mainstream
Mhm.
calling to legalize marrying your pet or marrying a family member or an adult marrying a child.
Perfectly good
now,
argument.
again,
Have you been to the South?
there's groups like NAMBLA and stuff like that. We can talk about that. But those are fringe groups at best that don't have widespread support.
And you
So
used
I
the
don't-
same
I
argument
don't-
22 years ago. Sorry.
I don't succumb to the you like that I'm using a big word of my own. I don't succumb to the fear that a lot of people have that you legalize gay marriage, now you're going to have to allow ... right? As I've said this on the show before. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a consenting adult, marry whoever you want. Marry same gender, marry multiple of different gender. I don't care if you're a consenting adult.
Yeah, but
not if you're a child,
sure.
not if you're a pet, not if you're a family member, whatever.
And this is why I had asked what you had a chance to read. Go ahead, Lori.
The definition of entity, a thing with distinct and independent existence. Example, church and empire were fused into a single entity.
Okay.
And then there's the other part of this
What
equation.
is the benefit of? I'm sorry, I want to double back
Mhm, sure.
to your businesses getting corporations getting married.
That's just one.
What is
potential.
the benefit? But I'm trying to understand why would a business? But what is the benefit?
Sure.
Because there's not currently tax law written for married businesses.
Watch this.
Money to the government, licensing, permits, taxation.
But what's the benefit to the business though? Like let's say Brandy Cruz, we had on the show, by the way.
You don't have a hostile takeover.
I love to drop her name, right? Because we love Brandy Cruz.
Name
so
drop.
let's say Brandy Cruz and Undivided decided that she wanted to wed Outlaw Radio. Okay, so Outlaw Radio and Undivided are going to marry each other.
Right.
What is the benefit to Undivided or Outlaw Radio in the union? Do you understand?
I understand.
Yeah, because we can talk all day about corporations
Right.
marrying, but there has to be an advantage to it.
What was the
But
benefit?
there's no money exchanged. I mean, you just have it. you go back to what, feudal times, where the father would marry off the daughter to a certain tribe because it was
Right,
strategically good.
But what is the benefit to a corporation or business
Just
if you're
that.
married?
Strategically good. Now
But they
you've
have-
got
you-
Outlaw and Undivided together under the
tell ya,
same umbrella.
You can't be
taking over
forced.
the
You cannot be
podcast world.
compelled to testify against your partner.
Bingo.
That's just one
Bingo.
right off the top of the head. Now, who would have thought? Now, I can understand both sides of this argument, but just for the sake of this conversation, 20 years ago, what was the benefit to a gay couple who hated Christianity and the Christian ideology that ostracized them? What was the benefit for them getting married? We can talk about the legal issues in the IRS and stuff, but think about it, right? These are people who were suing bakeries because they refused to bake them a cake. They do not like religion. They do not like specific Christianity. Why? The bigotry. That's a whole nother conversation. But why would they want to slap on their union the title of accepted under Christianity, right? Because that's where marriage comes from. That's the Western idea of marriage comes from Christianity.
Yeah, but listen, the minute the federal government and the state government and the county governments got in the business of ordaining, sanctioning, and rewarding marriage, the religious...
It's not rewarded, dude.
No, it is.
No, it's
hold
not.
on. It is.
It's
because
hell. It's
you
purgatory.
you receive tax breaks. Hold on. I hope your wife's not listening to this.
I love her.
You receive tax breaks. You receive survivor benefits. You receive Social Security benefits. You receive...
hey, look at all the benefits he's listing off to
but
corporations.
none of these would
getting
apply
married.
to corporations.
Why
Hold
not?
on. Because they're not written into law now. They could be later.
They're
I said
about
that.
to be.
Well, but they're not. Hold on. Stay on task with me.
Okay, my bad.
So I think it's somewhat disingenuous, Paul, to say,
okay,
well, they only wanted to get married because they wanted to say F you to the Christians. That's not.
No, I said, what was their benefit?
Their benefit was in all those other things.
Yeah.
I
understand that argument, but
Lord,
you're,
hold on.
you're totally getting off about this bill.
No, hold on. No, I'm
Okay,
not.
go ahead.
You asked about the benefits. We reported story after story after story of
It's
a
kind of
gay
rhetorical,
couple who were denied at the hospital to see their loved ones because they were not their spouse or partner. When
I married FTX. I just want to see the bank account.
But,
man.
no, but listen, stop it. But my point is, it's disingenuous to imply that every one of them wanted to get married for some nefarious reasons when a lot of them just wanted the same benefits that were granted to heterosexual couples, that included the tax breaks, that included the adoption ability, the survivor benefits, the medical decision-making abilities, all of that stuff that they couldn't do.
So let's get to the more important part of this bill and what it does. But Lori, you
go ahead, Lori.
I would say follow the money. Who were the big proponents behind it?
Mm-hmm.
And the industry, which would be lawyers.
Absolutely.
Why? Because another money-making revenue. You've got prenup, you've got postnup, you've got separation agreements, you've got divorce.
I was going to say, what does it look like when Burger King and Dairy Queen get divorced after they get married?
Yeah. You get Taco Bell.
I guess I guess Frosties will go to Burger King then.
Yeah,
we get Frosties in the divorce.
Here's the other part of this, which is actually a much bigger concern. The bigger concern for this bill is, and 27 years ago, Bill Clinton basically put into law, I think it was the Defense of Marriage Act or whatever it was, something like that. The idea was, Bill Clinton made it very clear. The government is never going to force beliefs on anybody. This bill does exactly that. If you're a nonprofit that's religious based, Hobby Lobby, for example, and
they're not nonprofit.
They're not nonprofit, but they're a corporation.
Okay. The point is, they don't have to be a nonprofit. The point is, any entity, any business or whatever, if you are religious based and you do not subscribe to these, you can be punished by the federal government.
Right.
So this isn't protecting anybody.
Would you read the bill specifically? I know you just had it up on your phone, and I think it's important because people will say, "Well, that's just a scare tactic, Paul. That would never happen."
The Attorney General may bring a civil action in the appropriate United States District Court against any person who violates subsection A for declaratory and injunctive relief. Subsection A says, in general, no person acting under color of state law may deny, full faith and credit to any public act, record, or judicial proceeding of any other state pertaining to a marriage between two individuals on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, or national origin of those individuals, or a right or claim arising from such a marriage on the basis that such marriage would not be recognized under the law of the state of the basis of same-sex, race, ethnicity, and all that stuff. It's not.
So those sound like state laws, though.
It's not creating a set of circumstances that are equal. So it's protecting one group of citizens, which is fine. Nobody has a problem with that. But it's intentionally leaving exposed people who live their life by a set of So that baker, right, who says, "Look, my faith tells me that gay marriage is wrong. I cannot, in good conscience, be part of your wedding and bake you a cake." Now it's not just that couple that sues the baker; it's the federal government as well. So these are legitimate problems, and a host of religious organizations and churches have spoke out and said, and listen, and can anybody here deny that organizations in the government like the IRS are above going after individuals, groups, or organizations because they disagree with them politically? No, we all know that it's true. Yeah. Go ahead, Lori.
I would say from a personal reason or personal, this makes me nervous. There's a lot of things in there. But from a professional point of view, the corporation part where you can have entities marrying instead of going through takeovers, acquisitions, merger and acquisitions, which happen quite frequently at my current organization, this would be super easy. You bypass. You have a little civil ceremony. We say, hey, we're marrying so-and-so. The surviving organization will be blah, and we're done. Instead of months.
I hate to be the kid that pisses on the electric fence in this, but
you go for it.
I mean, if you're into that stuff, I guess
there is no part of this that makes sense to me. Part of it is the corporate marriage thing, which I don't think it's viable. I think we'd have to see a whole bunch of other changes in laws and tax laws and things like that before it even happened. But listen.
You just bypass.
Here's a bigger issue. As I read what you read, it applied to the requirements for states to monitor and uphold marriages in other states. Here's what I'm going to say, which is what I always say. And Paul gets pissed at me because I always throw conservatives and Republicans under the bus. This is kind of their fault, right? If I was a member of the Republican caucus, he said caucus. If I was a member of the Republican caucus, you know what I would have done? I would have written my own defensive marriage bill that specifically covered marriages to show the Republicans don't care if gays and lesbians get married, instead of waiting for the Democrats to take it and weaponize it.
But it's already the law of the land.
But hold on. When Clarence Thomas came out with his words, listen, you can poo-poo it all you want to, but he is a member of the Supreme Court of the United States. And when we interviewed, who was the judge that we interviewed that was running for county clerk? Or county court or whatever?
Oh, for the county judge.
Anyway, whatever his name was.
Gleason.
Thank you.
Gleason.
Stan
And he
Gleason,
won,
yeah.
by the way. Congratulations, Gleason. Is because
he did.
you got the outlaw bump. I think you did, yeah.
No, he was losing.
Oh, well, never mind. It's not our fault.
Now you sound like Trump.
But do you remember what he said when we had him on the air? He said, ethically, I cannot talk about cases that may be brought before me. I have to leave it alone. Clarence Thomas spoke out of turn. He never should have implied.
Don't say a black man spoke out of turn.
No,
Dude.
no.
It sounds totally wrong.
He legally spoke out of turn. He should have never inferred anything about the 14th Amendment and where it applied to cases that were not brought before the court. He never should have said a thing. And if you want to be mad at anybody, be mad at Clarence Thomas for opening his mouth when he didn't need to, because now you have people that are concerned. Well, hey, we thought abortion was going to be cool forever, and it's not anymore. And now I have a conservative judge on the U.S. Supreme Court who has drawn a parallel between the 14th Amendment and gay and lesbian marriage and interracial marriage.
Yeah,
I don't believe for a minute that there's a Republican in this country who was against interracial marriage. I don't believe that for a minute. There's not one.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. There's not.
Here's the thing.
But what he did was he opened that up to be weaponized by the left
Yeah.
And rather than conservatives and Republicans being smart enough to go, holy crap, dude just stuck his foot in his mouth, we need to be proactive to show that we are not what they're going to paint us out to be. They just didn't do anything and then waited for the Democrats to come along and say, see, we told you that they're racist and we told you that they hate LGBTQ people and we now have to do all this extra stuff to protect them.
So can I read you what Thomas said so that we're not misquoting?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thomas said that the court should reconsider other due process precedents, such as Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell. Any substantive due process decision is demonstrably erroneous. He was quoting a 2020 Supreme Court decision. He said, we have a duty to correct the error established in those precedents. He's not saying overturn anything. He's talking about the legal standards, the way they go about making decisions. He said, after overruling these demonstrably erroneous decisions, the question would remain whether other constitutional provisions guarantee the myriad rights that our substantive due process cases have generated. Now, you're the expert.
I am the
It pains
constitutional
me to
scholar.
say that. As a constitutional scholar, what does that say to you? Does that?
I'm going to tell you exactly what it says. I'm going to put this in layman's terms for those of you in Gorsh to understand what I'm telling you.
Okay, well, that's not all that he said.
I know.
We would need to decide important antecedent questions, including whether the privileges or immunities clause protects any rights that are not enumerated in the Constitution.
And that's the line.
If so, how to identify those rights. Don't forget, Thomas is the only justice who has called on the court to reconsider other precedents. And that line right there by that reporter is disingenuous, and those kinds of comments by reporters that clearly have an axe to grind are what lead to this kind of BS.
Right. But if you read me the last sentence of his statement, and this is where I believe the angst comes from.
We would need to decide important antecedent questions, including whether the privileges or immunities clause, that's what he's talking about,
Protection immunity clause,
protects any rights that are not enumerated in the Constitution.
And
if so, how to identify those rights. And the most important part of all this is that for them to do that, those cases have to go through the entire process and then be brought to the Supreme Court to have them decide whether or not to hear it.
All right, I'm going to answer what he's saying in layman's terms.
But do it in a way
I-
that is intellectually honest, because you know that they can't just say we want to change law X, Y, or Z.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to answer this on the Facebook side.
Okay.
So if you're on Facebook, you'll enjoy it. If you're on AM, please wander over to Jay Ansley's house and ask for a cup of hot cocoa. We're back after this, Outlaw Radio.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Outlaw. So let me explain what this is in really basic layman's terms. Okay, what Clarence Thomas has essentially said is that he believes that judgments that were made using a wide view of the 14th Amendment as the justification for the ruling are incorrect and need to be corrected. Okay, he is not saying that these will overturn laws, but what he did say in the later part of that is that in order to justify the decisions, rather than using a broad swath of the 14th Amendment as your justification, you have to find real constitutional basis for it. And he argues the 14th Amendment does not provide that constitutional basis. The problem is that last sentence where he says to the effect of, if we can't find anything in the Constitution, then it is not a right and the federal government should not be protecting it.
The federal government should not be involved.
In it. But as we've said before, and this is different than the question about abortion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Agreed.
Because abortion is a state to state issue. The federal government is not allowed to contribute money into funding for abortions, or not allowed to subsidize it. Nothing. There's federal law that says that they can't. That is purely a state issue. And returning abortion back to the states, my people on the left are going to hate me, but it makes sense constitutionally because of that fact. The problem with marriage and why it has to be protected federally is because we give federal benefits to those who are married. There's federal advantages for those who are married. People get jobs because they're married. The federal government will hire military spouses ahead of other people because they're married to a military member. So there are federal benefits that are given. That, to me, would remove his argument, because the federal government is in the business of recognizing, rewarding, and subsidizing marriage.
So don't you think that he would understand that?
I don't know.
So here's
hold on. Let me tell you why I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Supreme Court upheld Citizens United. I can't understand why. The Supreme Court upheld the Patriot Act. I cannot understand why. So just because in my rightness, I know that I'm right, it doesn't mean that they don't screw up and fuck around.
The Supreme Court also, upheld Dred Scott. So
and that's true too. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're always right. I take a look at the Citizens United case. I have issues with it, but when I sit down and I really think about it and I'm intellectually honest with myself, I have to ask myself, it costs money to get elected, and the cost to get elected has exponentially increased, much greater than our earning capacity as individuals, right? So who's going to pay for politicians to get elected? Radio commercials, television commercials, traveling all over the place, holding rallies. To get elected costs a fortune for just about anybody. And so I had to ask myself, well, what's the other way? Like, how else are people going to get elected? Well, within the two-party system, they've got to appeal to the party. They've got to ask for donations and money. And there's just not enough money from individuals that have money to spend to really get people to do it. So I had to say, it's got to stay for now until a better way is found. And that's my issue with it. And this stuff about, my issue isn't with them trying to codify LGBTQ benefits and marriages. That's not my issue with this.
Right.
My issue is them forcing people to think how they want them to think. I am not, even though I live a faith-based life, I do not live a religious life. I do not like organized religion. They hunted down my people and burned them at the stake, literally, for being Knights Templar.
What you talking about, my people?
It's very difficult for me to go sit in a church and listen to somebody else preach the word to me when I'm more than capable of reading it myself and interpreting it. So for that reason, it's part of why we don't proselytize, right? We don't have churches. You can find a Templar church. Anyway, my point is that this entire case, I still believe that the baker has the right to decide for himself what is his morality. And the federal government, me, you, the gay couple around the corner, none of us have the right to tell them what their morals should or should not be. And even more so, we do not have the right to punish them, because you know who does that? Iran does that.
Yeah. They don't win soccer games though.
Next topic, folks.
All right. We're gonna come back. We'll continue talking about that. Also, at some point in tonight's show, we're gonna find out what Yellowstone character Paul is. We're going to give him a quiz. Stick around, Outlaw Radio.
It's messed up, dude. I already know who I am.
And my hand takes hold of judgment. I will take vengeance upon mine enemies, and I will repay those who hate me. O Lord, raise me to thy right hand and count me among thy saints.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
You must all fear evil men. But there is another kind of evil which we must fear most. And that is the indifference of good men.
Outlaw Radio. Hour number 2. We'll be here till at least 9, maybe 10. We'll see.
No, we won't.
Hey, so listen, Paul, I want to just on this final part of the conversation we were talking about. I think here's what's got me pissed off.
Sure.
And it's not about the bill itself,
Okay.
or the Republicans have voted against it or whatever, right? Because what we are, those of us in this room, now a lot of you lemmings that listen to this show are not that bright, but we in this room know that bills have layers.
Holly's not in the chat room. Is she?
Bills have layers, and there's a lot of stuff buried in bills that they bury just to get by. So I don't automatically.
That's very true.
I don't automatically assume, oh, Republican voted against his bill, he's against it. He might be against all the crap and garbage that's buried in the bill. Okay.
Well, and that's why. So when for those that don't know, like one of the things that we do to prep for the show is we have our private chat rooms. I'm sure you guys have all used them on Facebook.
We also dance around.
And so what we do is we post the stories in those rooms. And what brought this topic up was Jeremy had posted a story about it. The problem is that the story that he had posted led with the tagline 31 Republicans vote against, this marriage act, right? The implication thereby being, and it was
They're
nothing
opposed to the Marriage Act.
The whole, now, that's not what was meant by the article when the way it was titled.
Well,
right.
Kind of.
So so my point was to articles that are written in that way, especially off of Newsbreak. Listen, I don't want to take anything from Newsbreak. I signed up to be a contributor. Anybody can, with any point of view, with any sense of right and wrong,
God,
right?
Imagine my
so,
stories on Newsbreak.
So they are very opinionated. They are generally difficult. They never cite anything. They're really just kind of op-ed pieces by the people that sign up to write for them. And
God, I could write stories about my show called.
You can do it, dude. So anyway, my point.
Kevin Chambers' thoughts are not reflected by the station.
I was actually thinking I was going to suggest this to you guys since I already have a thing, an account with them. Like we could submit stories under Outlaw Radio Network.
We should
write our
that
own
would
story
be awesome
because they get posted and sent out everywhere within our region.
So here's my issue. My issue
It's
is
not the hemorrhoids, right?
My issue is with. Hold on, I want you to hear me out.
Okay.
My issue, leave my hemorrhoids alone. We'll talk about those later.
Cream for that.
My issue is, we once fed Preparation H to a goat. Anyway, my issue is.
Don't say that. Peter will freak out,
dude.
You know that Preparation H
Listen.
underneath your eyes, get rid of the bags under your eyes.
All right.
Get rid of more than
And
that.
your girlfriend. All right. Listen. My issue is that Republicans and conservatives are not smart enough,
okay,
to take advantage of their wins without giving ammo back to the Dems when they're done. Right? We saw this with abortion. Okay. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade.
I mean, they're not graceful victors.
No.
Oh.
Supreme Court hold
yeah.
on, but it's bad. Here's why. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, and all of these states, not all of them, but a large number of states.
Can we not say overturned Roe v. Wade? Can we say just send it back to the states?
No, they overturned Roe v. Wade because the decision on Roe v. Wade is that it was a protected federal right, and they overturned it. Anyway, my point is these states went so far backwards where they banned abortion to save the mother's life, where they banned them in cases of rape or incest, rather than Republicans taking a victory lap and saying, okay, this is our start. Let's work across the aisle. Let's have communications. Let's be the bigger party. They instead went so far to the right that then they gave fodder back to the left.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, the entire reason why that red wave never happened is because the Republicans dry humped their legs so much because they were so excited about the abortion ruling that they could finally do what they wanted to do, that they gave ammunition back to the Dems. It's the exact same thing with this defense of marriage stuff, right? The minute Clarence Thomas opened his mouth, a Republican senator or representative should have came out and said, we are proposing a bill to protect gay and lesbian marriage and to protect same-sex marriage.
Can we all agree Clarence Thomas should have kept his mouth shut? He had a Donald Trump moment.
I agree. But can you imagine what that would have done to the Democrats? Republicans would have came out and said, here's our bill to protect gay and lesbian marriage and interracial marriage. Here's our bill. There's nothing else in here.
Yeah, I agree with you. That would have been an excellent strategy.
We've written it smartly.
Yeah.
We've taken out all the BS we didn't want in it. Here's our bill.
Yeah.
And now it puts Democrats in a position of doing one of two things. Either one, acknowledging that the Republicans are not against it because they're going to sign behind it and do it, or two, voting against it. because the Republicans are the ones that brought it up. And then they'll make up a whole lot of reasons, but it makes them look bad. Republicans have, and I mean this nationally, not as much locally. Republicans have not mastered the art of public opinion and public sway. Because instead, they just continue to piss all over themselves for their platform and their base. And that's why Donald Trump is going to get the nominee for the Republican Party.
I agree with your supposition, but I'm coming at it from a different perspective.
Okay.
Mitch McConnell was the one who said, hey, we don't have to do anything. That is our strategy going into the midterms. We don't have to do anything. Biden is taking care of, paving our path for us. And because Roe v. Wade got overturned or sent back to the states, however you want to look at it, I agree with you on that part. Republicans should have come out and said, hey, let's talk about this. Let's get it going, because then they're calling the Dems bluff.
Yeah. And
listen,
they
didn't.
Who was that dude? Matt Larkin that ran, and they busted out comments of him talking about how he was against abortion. They had a couple comments from Tiffany Smiley they were able to use against him. If anybody had been intelligent, they would have just not talked about it. Like, they just would have been smart. They would have realized they got the win, take the win for now, and then see what transpires instead of you gave ammo.
Part of that is the bureaucracy of the whole system, right? I mean, I'm sure, Tom, would you agree? It's so big, so cumbersome, that I'm sure lots of folks within the party had ideas one way or another to truly capitalize on it in a manner that would have been less aggrandizing than it came out.
I think our biggest election problem, honestly, is...
Oh, crap. I gave you that intro, didn't I?
It's mass media.
It's going to go to the gold thing.
No, it's mass media.
Oh, for the for-profit media?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Mass media is the biggest problem our country has as far as clean, clear, concise elections without a lot of...
Now, you know what? I would have agreed with you a week ago. I don't agree now. You know why? Because 2 days ago...
Because you're K-Dog and you're disagreeable?
Because 2 days ago, Joe Biden came out and said... No, listen. 2 days ago, Joe Biden came out and said, we need legislation to stop the railroad strike. And 2 days later, the legislation was done.
Do you know? Listen, that's a tough one.
Meanwhile, I'm not sticking up for the legislation. What I'm saying is, when there's something pressing, when there's something that has to be done immediately for the nation's good, both sides of that dimwit society can come together and do something. But when it comes down to their bases, when their bases get involved, that's what I think I'm going to agree with you on something that you didn't even say yet. I think the political
You didn't even know you were gonna.
I think the political duopoly is the problem. I think being entrenched in a two-party system with so many people trying to cater to different bases is part of the issue. I don't think it'd get better if we had a third one or a fourth one or a fifth one, but I think that
Lori,
think that they're...
Could you step right out? There's a 2x4 on the other side of the door. Just grab it and just smack me really hard in the head with it.
I'd like to say that the rail strike has actually been going on for about 5 months.
It has.
They've done a slowdown.
Yep.
I believe they had an emergency stay put on any type of strike.
It's just like what Reagan did with the airline folks back in the 80s. And listen, it's one of the few things... I'm not going to lie. I don't like unions.
Yeah.
I don't like them for this very reason. This country's already in economic peril, and they chose now to take advantage of it because it would have considerably crippled. You think that our economy is in bad shape now? If the railroad workers went on strike, this country could very literally come to a standstill, and y'all were bitching about baby formula 3 months ago. Like, what do you think would happen? 90% of our materials travel by rail at some point in time. You would not be able to go to the grocery store and get most of the stuff you want.
Let's finite that a little bit. The strike would only represent...
You think I'm being too...
I think you're being a little overboard.
Over dramatic?
A little bit.
The strike on radio.
The strike would only impact about 30% of the rail force. So there would be stuff, but we dealt with supply shortages and stuff last year.
We're still dealing with supply shortages.
This would be supply shortages on steroids. They'd be there, but they would take forever.
They're already there. I can't get glass bottles for my distillery.
And inflation, which is
I
already
can't get
horrible.
bourbon that's owed to me.
Yeah.
You'll go home with a bottle of bourbon
I see what
tonight.
you're saying, Kevin.
Wise guy.
The other part of it is with a rail strike, even if other rail workers are not unionized, they're not going to cross that.
Yeah,
That's that. But then on the other side, you have the rail workers who, they're getting what, 1 to 3 days a month off to see their family. Otherwise, they're sitting in a hotel.
And do you know? And I didn't know that until this came up. They don't get paid sick time.
Nope.
They don't get paid sick time.
But they do make good money.
Well, hold on. They make good money, but they don't get paid sick time.
My neighbor's a railroad worker. So, and he and I were having a good conversation about this last week, right? So I live on Key Peninsula, beautiful little area called Vaughan. Great property values. Everything's in really good
Named
shape
after
out
Stevie
there.
Ray, yeah.
And so he owns
cool
the
to
property
me.
next to me. Now I've lived there for 4 months, and I had met him. I'm like, I thought maybe like the property belonged to some preppers because there's all kinds of like there's a trailer and some generators and big water things out there. So I thought maybe some preppers owned it and it was their bug out spot, right? And he comes in and he drives up and he introduces himself. I'm like, hey man, what can I do for you? And he's like, oh, this is my place. I was like, oh well, holy cow, okay. I have been here for 4 months and I've never met you and I was wondering who lived there, right? And he's like, well, I have a house in Montana and I work up in Alberta. Okay, doing what are you, vampire or something?
Oil?
Like, yeah, no, he works on the railroads.
Okay.
And he's like, so this and that, and he's telling me a little bit about it, and I'm like, wow, single guy, early 30s, owns a place in Montana, owns this place. I'm like, holy cow, dude, there's good money in railroad. Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, it's really good money. He goes, I'm 30, I think he said 32 or 33. He's like, by the time I'm 40, I'll be able to retire and never have to work a day in my life. Dude.
Yeah, we're in the wrong line of business, by the way.
Yeah,
Right.
he's. I mean, he was like, yeah, the money's real good. He goes, it's a lonely life. I don't have
Right.
a family.
Yeah.
He goes, but he goes, when I'm 40, I'll never have to work again. I'd consider doing that. So anyway, yeah.
Really quickly, Heidi said, why does that even need to be proposed, the bill? And Trey says,
Part of the issue, Heidi. Yep.
Wasn't it already a thing? Seems the bill was unnecessary.
Agreed with both of them.
Hold
Yes.
on. I would agree with that completely. With the
course you
exception,
would. You're a smart guy.
with the exception of one thing.
What's that?
This is about public opinion. This is about controlling the narrative.
It's totally about that. Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. I agree.
This is about being front and center on something to drive your people and your base and the to control the narrative, right?
Yes.
So we can argue whether or not the bill is necessary or whether or not the bill should have been done or was a requirement to be done. But the fact of the matter is the Democrats knew what the Republicans didn't know. This bill will carry weight. And this, by the way, will be another example for us to say, see, look, these guys didn't vote for it because they're racist and they hate gay people. And this is why you need to donate to the Democratic Party.
This bill will only carry weight if the media allows it. Because if
they're going to,
if Trump were president and it were a Republican Congress, and they were to pass something equally, throwing an equal thing, and if the media doesn't get behind it to weaponize it for the party, then it doesn't happen.
So I'm gonna throw this out to you too when you read it, and I brought this up earlier. The worst part about this bill is what it does weaponize. It weaponizes the federal government against religious organizations that do not share those moral values. And those organizations can be not only stifled, but dismantled, destroyed, and done away with.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think there's any illusion that the left does not like, generally speaking, Christianity, its values, and the people that practice it. I think that that's a fair statement to make based on what we have seen out of the hard left, the progressives over the last few years. Does anybody believe that it's a poor assumption on my part?
No. I mean, look at the YMCA. They don't promote what their name is. They don't promote their values, their ethics, whatever you want to say.
Right.
They do promote more of the less leftist type
Right.
talking
And
points.
and now we're going to have laws in this country on the books that allow them to subtly find ways to attack those religious organizations. And how many, listen, and this is going to sound horrible, but you don't find the Democrat Progressive Front feeding the homeless. They don't have a storefront where they're collecting food for these people. It's all religious organizations.
Yep. And I was going to echo that. If you really want to see community programs cease to exist,
That's
get rid of churches. Yep,
that
you're
is
absolutely right.
That is my concern with this, because this can be used as a weapon to oust those organizations, take away their nonprofit status, and then they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And
They'll
so
go underground.
Yeah, and listen, I don't know what percentage, but I feel very safe saying most of those organizations are run by what political persuasion?
Republicans.
Of the
Yes.
church organizations, Republicans, yeah.
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 So if you're the
Okay.
if you're the Dems and you're on the left, you're on the progressive
Methodist or
left.
Dem.
What you've just done is you've just bought yourself a whole bunch of ammo against people you can't stand. Yeah, sure, you like what they do, but now you've got all the ammunition you need to wipe those guys out when the time is right. So
Right. And effectively, you're canceling the whole party or a majority of
Yeah.
it, because if you take it to its conclusion, people aren't going to want to identify
That's
as a
right.
Republican. They're
Just
going
like-
to become independents,
You got it. Great
libertarians,
point.
but Democrats,
That's a great
because
point.
that's going to fuel how they stand in their community, how their homeowner, mortgage broker, their
Oh, you're one of
insurance.
them. It's like I had this friend that threw a party, throws this annual party. And shortly after Trump was elected, my son came back from Las Vegas and he brought me this sweatshirt that said "Make America Great Again," bright red one. And I was going to my buddy's party and I stopped at Safeway. And there was this young couple in line in front of me at Safeway, behind me at Safeway, who could not keep their mouths shut talking complete garbage and trash about the guy in front of them wearing the Donald Trump sweatshirt that was me. And I was buying groceries to go to my friend's party. And the craziest thing happened. I showed up at my buddy's party.
They were there.
And right behind me walks in this young couple.
That's even better.
It was wonderful. And what made it even better was the one young lady, her mom was at this party. And it was at that point in time, they were explaining to mom, you wouldn't believe this guy we saw at the, right? And you could hear them, right? As they realized that, and they were telling the mom all about this jerk that was wearing this Donald Trump sweatshirt, and they couldn't believe it at Safeway and all this other stuff. And so the mom promptly scolded them and explained to them, the host of this party, Kevin Chambers, that's the guy that does the radio show with him, and you need to go apologize. It was brilliant. What was her name, Kevin?
We're not gonna out them on the air. We're not gonna out them on the air. And by the way, whoever bought you that sweatshirt and brought it back from Vegas must really like you.
I hope so. He's half me.
Yeah. Anyway, so
that we beat it to death like a horse.
Yeah.
Soccer, football,
Soccer.
It's the sport of kings.
It is
Saturday.
It's better than diamond rings.
So we play Saturday.
Yep, we
US
play
plays-
Saturday.
Who do we play on Saturday in the knockout round?
Netherlands.
Yeah, it'll be over after that game.
Netherlands is the number one ranked team in their division.
Yep.
But
I
it'll be
hate
over.
to agree with you, but I'm pretty sure
It'll be over.
Yeah.
Listen,
Look, we
Netherlands
couldn't.
are
that's
good.
what's beautiful
Who did we
about
tie the first time?
Damn good.
Listen,
soccer
it's
players.
beautiful. That's the beautiful thing about international soccer. Any given day,
right.
like Wales should not have been able to have hung with the United States team, but the United States team has the youngest starting lineup in World Cup history. Like their team captain is 21, 22 years old.
Right.
Most of their players are in their early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
And so it's a really cool story. This team was not built to really do much this year in the World Cup, just to qualify. They qualified and they got out of the group rounds.
Yep.
And God bless them for it. Listen, they haven't lost a game.
Nope.
No.
Of course, they haven't won, but
Yeah. 11 a.m. Saturday.
The U.S. is to soccer what the Denver Broncos are to the NFL. It's no offense. Soccer
You're
is
just
so
a bigoted
horrible to
prick on
watch,
occasion.
man.
You know
I
that?
hate soccer, man.
You hate
It's
it why?
Okay, so you hate
boring.
soccer.
Yes, we hear.
Whoopie
You
doo.
still
boring.
Yeah, okay, bathtub boy. Listen, it's great that you don't like soccer.
Hey, you know what? I got to lay in my jetted bathtub, watch Yellowstone.
But nobody
last
needed to
night.
see your feet in that picture.
Hey.
dude. Anyway, that's what,
Thank you for only showing your feet.
right. It kind of reminds me of what's that female comic's name? Sarah Silverman.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing the commercial where she was like, please go to this website or please go buy this stuff I'm advertising for. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back to selling pictures of my feet and at my age. How would I even do that? Well, you can find out at footfetish.com.
It was
yeah.
.net.
There you go,
Yeah.
Kevin. Another
So,
job.
so I'm just, listen, I adore you like the child that fell from the stars. And
Superman.
Well, I mean, oh my God. Okay. Oh God.
Don't go
okay.
there.
No, it's too funny not to go there.
Fine.
So for those who haven't seen the Saturday Night Live skit, Did you guys see it when I posted it? Really?
I was on a vacation. I was gone. I was on a trip.
So he points out, he says, DC Comics have are letting everybody know that the next Superman is going to be black, which is appropriate because he was abandoned by his parents on another planet.
Oh my God, Paul!
Wow,
it's a Saturday Night Live skit.
Oh my Lord!
Oh, but that wasn't the end of it either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anyway, we're gonna. I don't even know how to respond to that, Paul.
And wasn't it Colin, whatever his name is?
Colin Jost.
Yeah.
Colin Jost.
Yeah. He was doing the
and
Chevy
then the-
Chase news.
the co-host was
Michael
was
Che.
totally trying not to. He was like, you could see the tears because he was trying so hard not to.
They are
laugh.
both hilarious. Michael Che and Colin Jost are both hilarious.
Well, yeah, and then he pointed out the cool part about Superman, is that how did it go? Do you remember how it went? It was something like, but in the new Superman movie, his kryptonite is an honest day's work.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm not making it
Wow.
up. I'm not making it up.
It was really biting.
Yeah, I'm not making it up, man.
It's beyond edgy. It was
It's
just
funny
biting.
because it used to be you could make jokes like that, and then
I think that's why they did it.
Everybody got politically correct, and then you couldn't.
Yeah.
And then you got labeled anything for make. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll find it. I'll give it to Dennis so he can play it
Cancel
because
culture.
his delivery was masterful.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna go to break in a moment. We come back for break. Before we get into another topic, we're gonna give Paul a quiz.
Oh, this would be fun.
And we're gonna find out which Yellowstone character he is.
Oh.
If it comes out Beth, I'm leaving. I'm going to the bar. That's all I'm saying.
Well, who would be the worst person to come up as? I think the worst person to come up as would be
Jimmy.
Would be Jimmy.
He's such a pansy.
It would be Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. Please
By
don't
the
let
way,
me be
Jimmy's
Jimmy.
not on the new season.
No, it's
so
because
I like
he's
how
filming.
Jimmy has grown.
Jimmy's filming the new show. The
1923.
no,
or-
the
No,
4
it's
6s.
4 6s.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing
So
another
1923 is another short series, like
Oh, okay, like 1883.
1883. Yeah.
It's the next. It takes the kid that was on 1883, and it's him grown up.
Which I haven't watched
and
yet,
that's
but, mhm.
it's gut wrenching. I
And
don't.
then-
You haven't watched it either, have you?
I watched the first
1883?
episode, but I never got with the rest of them. But I had Paramount
Yeah.
at home. And then 4 6s is an actual series. It's
Yes.
not going to be a short series. It's
Right.
gonna be
It's about the
ongoing.
4 6s ranch.
Oh,
It's
okay.
where
So
Jimmy
that's-
got sent.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
I binge watched the last month.
It's hard not
Yellowstone,
to when
so
you
I can
start
catch up
watching
to
it, right?
everything. Yeah.
It really is so. Taylor Sheridan
Do you know
is
I
an
have
amazing
a
writer.
T-shirt in my bathroom signed by Jimmy?
Do you really?
Yeah.
No.
That's cool.
It's in my restroom. It's because I have all my autographs in my bathroom, so it's signed by him.
the one
Wait a
downstairs,
second.
yeah.
You have all
Yeah.
of your what in
all
your
my
bathroom?
autograph
Autographs.
stuff in the bathroom.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
But it's signed by Jimmy, and then it's signed by the black cowboy on Yellowstone.
You
know what I'm
need to
talking
get
about?
Oh,
the one that's
yeah,
with Teeter.
Teeter, yeah.
The one with Teeter.
Do you know who Teeter's father is?
No.
No.
You guys don't? I know something you guys don't. Then
Wait,
That's
wait,
kinda
wait,
cool.
wait.
I don't know the show,
character
so
or
I'm
the
just
actress?
lost.
The actress, her
Oh.
real father.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be shocked.
Tell me.
Who does she look like?
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
I'm
like,
really
like,
bad.
and then when I found out, Michael Landon.
No,
Really?
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, that's her
Wow.
father.
That
Have you heard
makes
her
a lot
talk?
of sense, though.
Have you heard her talk?
Yeah,
She
it's all-
sounds nothing like
I
Teeter.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
She's
we're gonna go to
amazing.
break. When we come back, we're gonna give Paul a quiz and find out if he's closer to Rip or if he's closer to Jimmy. We'll figure it out next. Outlaw Radio.
This is Spike Cohen, the reigning and defending Libertarian vice presidential candidate, and you're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
Surprise.
Facebook.
I cannot wait to give you this quiz. It's one of the stupid quizzes. Like you could totally rig it if you wanted to, because it's they're obvious. Like
Is that like the quizzes that they do to become a member of the Libertarian Party? Sorry, Tom.
Be nice.
Dude, they all have you got?
Dang.
Come on, have you guys taken those quizzes at the fair?
Here's
like
No.
they're designed to make you always end up on that one little square that says, "Oh, you're a libertarian."
Did you see the ones they gave out this year that were new?
No.
They'd hand them a card and they would say, "Which color is gold?" I think it's that one. You're a libertarian. Anyway,
Well, most people end up being libertarian because most people look out for themselves first, and the party is all about personal liberties. So,
Although,
So in other words, Hitler.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought that.
In other words, Hitler was a libertarian.
Dude.
oh
wow.
what?
No, I mean, he only looked out for himself, right? He only looked out for himself. It was all about it was only concerned about his individual liberties, right?
Oh,
no.
Using the word liberty in German.
Jeez.
He was a dictator.
Achtung, baby.
She was being polite.
Like,
That's why she.
where are you going, Paul?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Where are you going?
Getting some water.
He was
Okay.
getting out of the way.
I expected Tom to throw down on that one.
Did you? I'm just asking.
Hands.
No,
I'm just
no.
asking.
I'll stay over here and be
All right.
polite.
Be polite. All right. I love you. I love you, Tom.
Go
I really
go
do
ahead.
love you.
Go ahead.
I thought of you yesterday, by the way,
Uh-oh.
because I was able to hang out in my jetted tub,
Oh.
and you were the one that came over and fixed it.
I don't know if I'm creeped out by that or not.
No, you're strangely turned on, aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah, thank God for the jetted tub, baby. That's all I got to say.
Alrighty.
That's how you come home from a vacation. You sit in the jetted tub and watch Yellowstone.
I'm gonna have to catch up on the show.
No, do you want to borrow the DVDs?
I have Paramount at home.
I have the first 4 seasons on DVD. Yeah.
I would have borrowed them.
You totally could.
It'd be easier for me to just stream it. I don't have a DVD player hooked up to my
I buy
TV.
the shows I really like. I buy on DVD because God knows what's going to happen to streaming in the future. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I got House. I got all of House on DVD. I got all of Chuck on DVD. If you've ever seen the movie, the TV show Chuck.
I didn't get too
Oh
into
my
that
God,
one.
Chuck was great.
House I enjoyed.
I got How I Met Your Mother and The Office.
The Office I couldn't get into.
No,
no,
that's because he's a libertarian. You guys don't believe in work. All right.
What?
Anyway.
Wow.
We'll come back after this and we'll give Paul his quiz. Do you guys want to place any bets on who you think he turns out to be?
I can't. What? I've never seen a single episode of the show.
I think he's going to be the ruthless developer dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who got the snake.
Oh, yes, the guy that got the snake.
That's
Yep.
what I was thinking.
All right. Dennis, have you been watching Yellowstone?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well.
Dennis,
So we're
you
both
would like
lost.
it.
All right. How long do we have until break? I don't want to talk about anything. We got break right around the corner.
I thought we were on break.
We are on
Come
break.
back from break.
Oh.
we have
a message here. What does it say? I'm trying to read what it says.
We have a minute.
See,
I
Kevin,
did
we have
not
a
post a
whole
feed
minute where
picture.
you can say "fuck."
I'm forgetting.
Kevin, were your toes manicured? I didn't.
No, they're not
Or
manicured.
pedicured, I mean.
No, the girls tried to talk me into getting a pedicure
should
when I was
do
on the
that.
cruise. I'm not going to go do that. Nobody's touching my feet. That's weird.
No, it's good for your feet.
It's not good for my
Good
feet.
stimulation.
You know what's good for
your
my
tip
feet? To sit in the soaker tub. That's what's good for my feet. I'm not going to go get no pedicure. You ever got a pedicure, Tom?
I've
Yes or no?
I've not me no.
Okay, Paul, have you?
Oh hell no! And I wouldn't admit it
Thank
if
you.
I had.
Dennis, have you?
I have not.
No, see, real men do not get pedicures.
I've given my wife a pedicure.
Well, that's because you love your wife and you're
He
a
did
good
that
husband.
recently.
I'm not sure how that goes over actually.
Talk about him losing a
That's so
bet.
sweet.
How much more time do we have?
Oh
No, I lost a bet, so I was paying up.
We have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Fuck.
Unfortunately, my Cougars did not win the Apple
Fuck.
Cup, so I owed a mani petty.
Fuck.
Wow. Good
But
for
you
you.
do get serious bonus points for actually following through with it.
Yes, you
You're-
do.
You're a good hubby, Tom. One day I hope to be as good of a husband as you. I just got to find a woman stupid enough to marry me.
Not that your wife is stupid.
No, I meant stupid enough to
No,
marry
that
me.
was not the correlation
no,
there.
Hey, she's the one who asked me. I mean, she's got to be.
All right,
touched
coming
in the
back.
head. It was
Outlaw
her
Radio. Paul's
idea.
quiz is next.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio. Back to the fact that I said the bill was necessary for public opinion. Trey said so. Waste taxpayer money By the way, waste is spelled W-A-S-T-E, Trey, not
Hey,
W-A-I-S-T.
be nice. Be nice.
I just
You
had to
might
pick on
be
Trey.
enjoying an adult
So
beverage.
waste taxpayers' money to create a bill that means nothing and really has no purpose to push a narrative. Yes, they all do that. They all do that. Everybody does that. All right. Here we go. Paul, you ready? Can you give us some game show music, Dennis? Do you have anything cool to put us under us for game show music?
Hold on.
Some spaghetti western.
I know. I should have said something. Even the Benny Hill one would be fun.
No, not the Benny Hill music. Jeopardy.
Oh, a little Jeopardy. Yeah.
I am not trying to get sued.
All right. All right, let's do this. Which Yellowstone character
perfect, Dennis.
is St. Paul? So, Paul, here's your first question.
John Dutton.
Listen.
Oh, okay.
You are a ranch owner, and you need to hurry to get to the other side of your ranch. How are you getting there? Are you getting there in a Mercedes AMG E63S Black, in your Dodge Ram 3500 Laramie short bed, on a quad bike, or on horseback?
Oh, on horseback.
You're going on horseback?
Why not?
Okay. So far, you're totally Beth.
I wouldn't be caught.
Never saw her ride a horse, but
Beth doesn't ride.
What is most
she
important
does,
to you?
but it depends on where she met him.
What is most important to you, Paul? Happiness, power, love, or success?
Happiness.
You're certainly not Beth. What is your favorite alcohol, Paul? Vodka, beer, whiskey, or bourbon?
Whiskey.
Whiskey and bourbon are, well, bourbon is whiskey, but whiskey's not necessarily bourbon.
Clearly a 12-year-old put this quiz together. How do you like to unwind on the weekends? Do you like to sit in your porch and drink beer, meet with friends at the rodeo, hang out at a cowboy bar, or take your family camping?
This is like now today, because I know what it used to be.
Yeah,
You used to
right
sit
now.
on the porch and drink beer. Now it would be take the family camping.
All right. So far, I think you're Casey, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll take Casey.
Pick a quote. I'd rather kill 1,000 men than shoot another horse. Only people you can trust is family. I was born on a dead-end road, honey. The world doesn't need another generation of me. Or there's no such thing as dying of old age. Something kills us all.
Only people you can trust is family.
Which sibling are you? Are you an only child, the youngest, the adopted son, or the only girl? You're none of those.
No, I'm not. I don't know. I guess you would say I'm an only child.
There you go. We'll take that.
I'm the oldest
Best we
was
can
what
do.
it would be, but some
All
weird
right.
choices right there.
And now there's an ad
Polish person wrote it.
for house.com. Hold on. I think it's
House. I'm on Angie's list, and they're like House, but the lady from House told me, she's like, we cater to more affluent neighborhoods, like in your particular area. There would be Gig Harbor and Bainbridge Island. Yep, not interested, darling. She's like, but why? You don't want to work for the richer people? Nope, they're pricks.
What is your favorite meal, Paul, after a long day at the ranch? Chili, corn croquettes, fried chicken, or country fried steak?
I have no idea what corn croquettes are.
Well, let's look. Hold on. I want to give you a...
Chili is a great meal in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to do lots of fun stuff with chili and add all kinds of cool stuff to it, like good sausage and some Polska
a corn
kielbasa.
croquette it looks like it's a deep fried corn.
Looks like a
cheese
hush
thing.
puppy.
Yeah.
Kind of with corn in
Okay.
it, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, hush puppies are cornmeal.
I mean, they don't have. I mean, honestly,
No, but this has like kernels of corn
Right.
inside of
Oh,
it. Yeah.
for me, it didn't have the one option that I actually would have chose, which would have been steak and potatoes.
Yeah. But what do you choose out of those?
I would go with the country fried steak.
All right. Your friends. Wait, you don't get to answer this question. We do.
Oh,
Because it says
fine.
your friends would describe you as.
Okay.
Your friends would describe you as conniving, quiet, kind, or loud. Tom, what do you think?
I'd give him kind.
Would you give him kind, Lori?
Yeah.
Dennis,
Look at that.
how would you describe Paul? Conniving, quiet, loud, or kind?
Just say loud.
No, Kevin's
He's
much
thinking
louder
hard.
than you.
That's
He's thinking hard.
tough because he's kind of loud, but
No, Kevin's much louder.
Not Kevin
than Paul.
Loud though.
no.
Between the two, no, he's not the no.
So yeah, I'd say he's a kind person.
Oh my God, I would have said conniving, but okay.
I love you too, Dennis.
What would your job be on the ranch, Paul? And no, Fluffer is not one of them. Would you be the boss?
Suppose that would depend if Pete Bukaki was there or not.
Would you be the boss, the foreman, something on horseback, or doing the dirty work for the boss? That could be a Fluffer.
That's you. I'd be the boss.
The boss.
And probably fire you at least twice.
I almost said a bad word. Defending the largest ranch in the U.S. is a huge responsibility. What's your weapon of choice? A Glock, a pistol, a shotgun, or a rifle? A Glock is a pistol, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
A shotgun is a rifle.
A rifle.
A rifle?
No, shotgun's not a rifle.
I know, I was being funny.
Okay. I was like, ooh, we gotta
How
help
do you
him,
deal
Tom.
with betrayal, Paul?
Death.
Slowly destroy their life one day at a time. Teach them a lesson by constantly reminding them that you don't forget. Forgive them, but break contact with them if they do it again. Or wait for the right time to get your revenge.
Oh, hey, I'll wait for the right time. Yeah. Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Pick an animal. Bobcat, wolf, snake, or fox.
Wolf.
This is a long-ass quiz, by the way.
Yes, it is.
We're only 19% of the way through.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think we could finish this, man. It's
Oh,
way
sorry, we're
too-
20% of the way through. How would you
1%.
how would you describe your love life, Paul? I don't have time for romance. I'm ready to settle down. I'm in love, or it's complicated.
This is a Facebook quiz,
Right?
I would put I'm in love because my wife will kill me if that's not what I
That
answer.
rules out everybody on the show. What's your biggest fear, Paul? Losing everything you own? Never being properly loved? Just let that sit for a minute. Not being able to protect the ones you love, or losing a loved one?
Not being able to protect the ones you love. That's a manly thing.
Okay. What makes you angry, Paul? Threats to your property, disloyalty, injustice, or abusive parents? I don't know. That just seems out of place.
Threats to my property?
All right. What makes you laugh, Paul?
Kevin, this was a horrible idea.
When someone thinks that they could take what's yours, when someone doesn't know how to wear a bolo tie, when you play with your kid, or when someone gets what's coming to them?
Makes you laugh?
What makes you laugh, Paul?
Yeah, bolo ties are funny.
Yeah.
Worn right or not.
When someone thinks they can take what's mine, or they force me to do a strange quiz.
I want to know who you are. How would you handle a child showing up unexpectedly? By the way, I'm an expert on this. Would you raise them yourself?
Wait, who's your mama?
Ask family for help? Look for their parents, or do the right thing?
So it's assuming that they're not my kid.
I don't know. It just says,
Okay.
how would you handle a child showing up unexpectedly?
I'd raise them myself.
All right.
Like Kevin. He's a great example, everybody.
Do you
For
like
all of you women
surprises?
out there?
Paul, do
like
you,
Kevin would be a great catch. And
Paul,
he does not eat a lot of sandwiches.
do you like surprises? I hate them. They're almost never good. They're okay as long as I can predict when one will come up. Or if it's a house, sure.
They're almost never good.
Little Michael Powers going on here for us. How do you feel about the quote, family over everything? I agree 100%. I don't know my family. I agree unless you betray me, or loyalty is more important than family.
No, I agree 100%. Kind of. I mean, loyalty is more important.
How do you feel about a woman proposing, Paul?
I have a brother that's a real...
It's not for me. I'm okay with it. It's untraditional, or why not?
Why not?
I was proposed to once.
How'd that work out?
I didn't marry her. You notice a group of bikers causing trouble, Paul. What do? You ask them what they're doing? You immediately start kicking them out? You analyze the situation first, or you wait for backup?
A group of bikers?
Bikers.
I was in that situation when I was security at the garage. Well, that's an easy one to answer.
Go ahead.
Punch out.
So immediately start kicking them out?
No,
No,
punch
he
out
means
like
clock
clock
out.
out and go home.
Oh, okay.
I definitely did not immediately start knocking them out. That makes sure I'm not Beth. Analyze the situation. You gotta be
Analyze
smart
the
about
situation.
things like that, or you end up 6 foot under basketball player.
You're taking an afternoon stroll through the forest when you suddenly see a bear. How do you react besides pissing yourself? You leave the forest, you hide, you call for help, or you track it down and get rid of it.
I pull a Kevin. I just make sure I'm the fastest one in the group.
You don't have to be the fastest. You just can't be the slowest.
Yep.
I would say there's no need to track it down and kill it. I leave the forest.
All right. Maybe your what's his name? Raintree?
Oh, he's a cool character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite breakfast, Paul? Fried bread, scrambled eggs, and bacon. That's clearly Native American.
Scrambled
reference,
eggs and
you
bacon.
bastards. A bowl of cocoa chips with my grandson, a hot cup of coffee, or spending hours in the kitchen for my loved one.
Oh, no, not that last one. Hell no. Fried bread, scrambled eggs, and bacon.
That sounds
Ooh,
good. With
fried
a hot
bread.
cup of coffee.
Now you're going to be
Fried
Raintree.
bread sounds good.
I'm checking the chat really quick.
Everybody's like, what the hell are they doing?
There's
Hey, Holly's here. Hi, Holly. All right. Here we go.
Yes.
Do you fight fairly, Paul?
Nope.
Just tell me who do I need to fight. Our adversaries don't fight fairly. All rules go out the window once you're on my property, or I try to follow the rules. Come on, Paul.
Yeah, all rules go out the window.
All right.
There's no such thing as rules in a fight.
What's
There's
your
those
favorite
that
time of
walk
day,
away,
Paul?
those that
Evening,
don't.
morning, afternoon, or night?
Oh, I love the nighttime. I'm a night owl.
Isn't that a disco song, Dennis? I love the nighttime. I love the boogie.
I love the nightlife.
That's right.
By Alicia Bridges.
What's your most treasured possession, Paul? Is it your significant other? I hope your wife's not listening to this question. Is it your significant other, your business, the deed to your property, or photographs of your family?
Ooh.
Is a wife a possession?
No.
That's bad wording
No.
right there.
Yes, she is.
I would
No.
say
It's
photographs
not
of my
You
photographs
can't
of my
answer
family.
that one right.
No,
you
you can't.
really can't.
If you say, "Oh, my significant other," I'm a
How would
possession
you
now,
love
I'm
to celebrate your birthday, Paul? With your family, an event in your honor, with a stiff drink and a cigarette, Beth, or with your partner?
With my family.
Bless you.
You all right, Tom?
Pardon me.
Is it the quiz? It's making
No.
you sneeze? Okay.
Paul, how do you reflect on your life?
Often.
Do you feel grateful for what you have, even if it's not much? Are you motivated and planning on how to make more money? Do you do it with a drink, wearing a bathrobe, Beth, or ready to be with your family?
How is that?
Beth sounds like Hugh
feeling
Hefner.
grateful for what I have.
Even though it's not much.
You didn't add that last part in.
What would your desk be made
Sure.
of? And by the way, they spelled wood in this quiz, W-O-O-D. What would your desk be made of? Would it be made of oak, mahogany, walnut, or I don't have an
Walnut.
office job?
Walnut.
What kind of jacket do you normally wear, Paul? Flannel, denim, fur, or wool lined?
Definitely not fur. I mean, denim, I guess, is
Denim.
the one thing that's on there. But I wear the denim vests a lot.
Choose a ranch animal, Paul. Horse, bull, cow, or dog?
Oof. It's either horse or dog. Since I just got my horse back today, I'll go with horse.
We're now halfway through the questions, by the way.
Good Lord, Kevin.
Oh, my goodness.
What do you look for in a partner,
This is
Paul?
literally the second worst idea you've ever
I
had.
know.
me.
What do you look for in a partner, Paul? Good look, sense of humor, kindness, or toughness?
Toughness.
I thought he'd say sense of humor because she has to look at him naked.
My wife has zero sense of humor.
What does your
I don't
dream-
think I've actually ever heard her crack a joke.
What does your dream house look like, Paul? Is it cozy and isolated, huge and extravagant, modern with a nice view, or a cabin in the woods with your family?
It's a cabin in the woods.
Let's see here. Your friend is in trouble. How would you help them, Paul? They got themselves in trouble so they can get themselves out. You get them out of trouble. It depends what kind of trouble they're in, or you'd be there for them.
Well, Kevin, let's just say I'd be there for them. Because real friends will help you bury the body.
And bring the.
I literally got assaulted by a woman for this guy. So
Here we go.
What?
People often criticize you for being what? Everybody else is going to answer this.
Kevin's friend.
Mean and a bully, argumentative and bossy, directionless and unenthusiastic, or overly sensitive and moody?
Oh, argumentative.
Argumentative and bossy. Everybody
Yeah.
agree? Love you, Paul.
But you guys all said I was kind like 2 minutes ago.
How do people usually react to you, Paul? They can't figure you out. They laugh, they're scared, or they underestimate you.
They're scared? No, that's not true.
No.
I would say they underestimate me.
Okay. We underestimate Trojo all
Told
the
her I'd go
time
for 10
because he's
minutes.
short. Paul, who are you in your friend group? Are you the quiet one, the leader, the fashionable one, or you don't have friends?
Good Lord. Some of these answers, man. I'm the quiet one.
I'm the
total
leader.
bullshit.
I'm the leader. How do you feel when you wake up in the morning, Paul? Are you tired? Depends on what time you went to bed. Your old bones are creaking, but you're driven to start the day, or you're ready to go.
Depends on what time I went to bed. I'm fitty.
I want people in the chat room right now to start putting in who they think Paul is in Yellowstone. Make your predictions now. Do you believe in soulmates, Paul?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Sometimes yes or no.
Yes.
That's how we came together for radio. Soulmates.
A person has many, many soulmates, souls that you're associated with throughout history. You're comfortable with their presence.
I'm going to see if you know the answer to this question. What kind of cowboy boots you wearing, Paul? Pointed toe, square toe, broad square toe, snip toe.
Easy. It's a pointed toe. I'm not wearing them now, but yeah, I wear ropers. I have a pair of ropers.
Do you?
I have a pair of each.
Yeah.
How do you deal?
I like the pointed ones. I've worn them all, and I only like the pointed ones.
How do you deal with failure, Paul? With a picture of Jimmy, by the way. How do you deal with failure?
I don't.
Become motivated, become closed-minded, become rebellious, or take authority?
I can become motivated. I'm motivated a lot lately.
Which profession do you think best suits your interests? Politician, teacher, lawyer, or rancher?
Oh, rancher. Not a good rancher, but rancher.
What is one thing a cowboy should always have? A scowl, boots, a horse, or a gun?
Well, that's funny. I would say a gun, because with the gun, you can take anything else.
Yep.
What is your favorite kind of cowboy, Paul? A cattle rustler, a lawman, a gunslinger, or a bank robber?
A lawman.
I just said gunslinger. I thought you'd have picked a gunslinger.
I'm Polish, man. Do you think I can hit anything?
Do you like traveling alone or with others? You like being on your own? With my one trusted companion? I don't mind a group of people. I need my family.
I like being on my own.
What do you got in the chat?
The girl that Beth broke a bottle over her head for hitting on Rip.
That's messed up. Who said that?
Trey.
And
then Holly said farmer. Oh, she's answering along with you guys.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
All right, here we go. What is your favorite food side, Paul? Beans, fried okra, green fried tomatoes, or mac and cheese?
I love mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah. Mac and cheese with with shredded pork and barbecue sauce on top.
If you were an outlaw, Paul, how would you make money? Bank robbing, stealing cattle, robbing a stagecoach, or small-time thievery?
No, I'd be bank robbing. Go big or go home.
What is your favorite cowboy movie star, Paul?
Oh.
Josh Brolin, Clint Eastwood, Emilio Estevez, or John Wayne?
What?
Where the hell do they got Josh Brolin in there?
And Emilio Estevez?
Well,
Like,
Emilio
he
Estevez was in Young Guns.
We like
That was
like
one movie.
2 movies.
No, it was like 2.
Okay, 2 movies.
Come on, Paul. Pick.
He was also
Clint-
Mighty Ducks.
Well, listen,
It's gotta
actually,
be John Wayne, right?
Yeah, it's John Wayne.
All right,
I like. He's got so many good one-liners.
That's why I'm your soulmate, because I know these things. Paul, you just arrived in a new town. Where do you go first? A hotel, the bar, the sheriff's office, or the red light district? Hookers!
Can I check? See who's listening. No, a hotel, babe, a hotel.
We have any predictions in the chat yet?
No, just the one from Trey.
Paul, how do you sleep?
Well,
drunk, with a gun in your hand, with one eye open, or comfortably?
One eye open. That's actually easy because when you got animals and you're on a farm, man, I'm such a light sleeper, man.
Mm-hmm.
If I hear my chicken make the wrong noise, it will wake me up and I'm out of bed.
What do you enjoy most about your life, Paul? Your partner, your work, your wealth, or your family?
My family.
Heidi has weighed in for Jamie.
Every time he gets the opportunity to answer his wife, he picks something else. What's your favorite weather, Paul?
He's just trying to sabotage
It-
you.
What's your favorite weather, Paul? It doesn't matter. Cold and snowy, hot and sunny, or rainy?
Doesn't matter. You gotta learn to not let the weather bother you, man.
Which of these vacations sounds like your cup of tea, Paul? A staycation nearby, visiting a country with wild horses and bull riding, somewhere beautiful
bull
where I
running,
don't speak
which
the
like is literally only Italy.
Yeah.
Spain.
Spain.
Somewhere
Sorry, yes.
beautiful where I don't speak the language, or a week at a spa.
The wild horses and the bull. I would love to run with the bulls.
Really?
Yeah. Would
If
love
you
to.
saw someone getting harassed in a bar, Paul, would you step in to stop the situation from escalating?
Well, again,
I'd
worked at
ask
a
the
bar
aggre-
for a long time.
I'd
so-
ask the aggressor what their problem is. I'd record everything in case. I'd only step in if someone attacks me, or I'd say something sarcastic to the aggressor.
Well, I started by firing Kevin. And
Answer the question. We gotta hurry.
Oh, my bad. I'd ask the aggressor what their problem is and tell them no matter what it is, they're leaving anyway.
Now it's
one way
the
or another.
environmentalist that Kevin Costner is having
An affair.
entanglements
I
with.
can't figure out if he's actually sleeping with her, because that chick Piper Perry,
he
the part
is.
she's playing, man, she's funny as heck.
What kind of music do you listen to when driving? I really don't care for music. Top 40, classic rock, or country?
Classic rock. Love classic rock while I'm driving. I get my
How
kids to
dark are your jeans? They're black, they're pretty light, they're pretty dark, or they're faded?
listen. No, pretty dark. I like darker color jeans. They don't show the stains.
Which
bad.
type of belt do you wear, Paul? One with a big belt buckle and 2 holsters? None. My jeans are pretty tight. A standard belt with a buckle, or a big buckle with 1 holster?
Standard belt with a buckle. I'm not into the country.
Pick a
Western
card
buckles.
game. Poker, crazy eights, blackjack, or president?
Blackjack.
I don't even know what president is. Why do you choose to do the right thing? To set a good example? For the recognition? You do it for yourself? Or because it's the right thing to do?
I do it for myself.
When someone breaks into your house, how likely are you to fix it? You'd ask friends or family to help you fix it. You'd fix it yourself.
I
You'd
fix
see
it
if you could fix
myself.
it yourself first, or you get someone else to do it.
No, I fix it myself.
Okay, here are your results, Paul. You are Casey Dutton.
Oh.
It says here you're a caring person at heart, naturally wanting to help others as much as possible. Your kind nature comes from a complicated past, which pushes you to distance yourself from it as much as possible. Anybody pick Casey?
Nope.
Yeah, didn't you?
I'd pick Casey.
Yeah, you said Casey.
Well, yeah, not
But nobody in the chat?
though. No.
I was going to give away a free Outlaw Radio Network t-shirt to whoever guessed it
Were
correctly,
ya?
but nobody guessed it right. All right, we're going to wrap the show on that. Dennis, parting shots in 10 seconds or less.
Cooperate for kids. Go Bolts. Raiders suck.
Lori,
Raiders suck.
parting shots.
We still lost to them.
Happy December.
All right. Isaac, good to see you, buddy. Nice to have you in studio. Long time no see. Tom, parting shots?
Yep, same drum I've been banging on. Please drink responsibly. Go out and have a great time. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends. When it's time to get home, do it with a designated driver, an Uber, a cab, a Lyft.
You're going way over your time. Paul, parting shots?
But it was
Go
important.
USA. Looking forward to the soccer match. I'm sorry, the football match. Saturday
USA
afternoon.
all the way.
USA.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. Cooperate for kids.
All right. My parting shots is just good to be back. I missed you guys. I love you guys. Breaking news. It is still not snowing. We'll be back on Sunday, which will be the first show in December. And you know what that means, right, Dennis?
Yeah, it means it's the first show in December, Dennis. And that's all it means.
Christmas music.
I'm playing some
you
right now.
gave me permission to do it in December because I wanted to start in October. You said
It's
not
already
until after
playing
Thanksgiving.
right now.
I wanted to start in October.
All right. Good night, everybody. We love you. We
Good night.
appreciate you. Good night.
Good night.
From me and Casey Dutton.
Yeah.